and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 155. We're going to be talking about this action-packed Saturday of college football, some people getting fired, and then I have a question about a coach that hasn't been fired yet as well. We'll talk Notre Dame, because why not? That's our team. And then we move on to Sunday, where we talk about how our fantasy's going and the action-packed Sunday as well of football. Some games went to the end, and a great future possible playoff game as well that went down to the end. And then we finish with Tim's best bets. Did he go 4-0? Because I heard that he possibly might have went 2-0 on Saturday. So let's get it started.
Yeah. I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes.
Eh.
All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
Welcome back to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 155. I'm here with Anthony and Tim, and it was a very action-packed weekend for football. Not what we expected going into it, so let's get into it. Tim, talk to me about your first college football takeaway.
I think the first game that I'll talk about is Miami and SMU. For Miami, too many penalties in this game. 12 penalties for 96 yards. That one penalty late in the game where they hit Jennings, and it went from a 4th and 9. They were going to be kicking a farther field goal to a first down, and then they end up kicking the field goal right at the end with about 25 seconds to go. And then Miami doesn't do anything. They just down the ball, and we'll just go to overtime. That's not good. 2-5 in the red zone. You got to be better than that, man. You got Carson Beck back there. He was a Heisman candidate. You know, the overtime interception, that was a backbreaker. That was the icing on the cake. You just knew right then and there, because now all SMU needs is a field goal to win. And also, I was watching a bit of the game. They panned two of the alumni guys that used to be at SMU, which would have been Dickerson and Craig James.
Yeah,
they were on camera doing things. It was really cool. And I think here's the deal too. Miami started out so well this year. You know, this coach Mario Cristobal is 4-9 in November games.
Yikes!
So when it's time to win, he's not winning. 4-9 for the month of November. Carson Beck, is he your guy? I just don't know. He just throws too many interceptions. He gets you in too many predicaments. He did have a good game, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns. But, you know, for SMU, big win for them. That puts them right back in the talk of maybe being the ACC championship. Jennings had a good game, 365. That kid ended up re-injuring his ankle in the third quarter. But I'm going to tell you what, this kid has got to be – he couldn't put pressure on that leg. And he still came back after. He's got to have 2 broken legs before he will ever come out of a game. He's just that kind of guy. And the defense kept him in there, forced two interceptions, you know, and made a stop on 4th and goal in the third quarter. This is a big win for SMU. This takes Miami out of the picture. And, you know, here's the deal. Like I just said, 4-9 in November. How many more times is he going to be able to do November games and have that kind of a record?
No.
Before now, they're going to be talking. There's going to be talk about it.
Yep.
Well, it definitely seems like there's a huge push this year, especially of if you're not performing, we're not going to keep you. There's no commitment. You know, the loyalty there is not there. So it's definitely coaches got to be watching their bags to make sure that they're playing at the best that they can, because otherwise they will.
Too much money involved. Right. There's too much money involved. There is just way too much money involved. They want to win. They want to win now. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely surprised to hear that Miami lost. I was not expecting that. I was actually kind of surprised that they were still in the top 10, or they were ranked 10, last week. So to hear that they're now losing this, I don't see them being in the top 10, going into the top 10 this week. So that's interesting. Anthony, how did you think about this game?
Yeah, this is Carson Beck. This is what you got at Georgia. This is what you got at Miami. Yeah. When the game was on the line, remember that Friday night they lost? and they were coming back, and they were in field goal range, and they could have tied it, and he throws a pick. And they lost that Friday night game. And we said, oh, it's a Friday night blunder in ACC. Yeah. We're not going to blame that, right? And then they go into overtime, and he throws another interception. That is Carson Beck, and it's why when we talk about the drafting class of this year, the quarterbacks, I don't trust anyone. Now, you said Jennings. He kind of gives you a little resemblance of someone, right? Kind of like a little Calvin Johnson. I hate when people do this. I absolutely hate it. But the man cannot be stopped. I mean, if it's two guys on him, he goes up and gets the ball. I think when you said the SMU alumni being there, they kind of started bringing them back. They should be brought back. That whole ordeal that happened where that shut down the program and stuff, that's never on the players. That is 100% on the program. Do not penalize the players for it. So, no, I definitely thought this was a good game but final thing, awful for Notre Dame, Miami losing. But at the same time, with Miami losing in this game, hopefully it doesn't get brought onto Notre Dame because it was a week 1. And I still don't think that Miami was the better team in that day. They just made the plays at the right time to win that game against Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, and they were a powerhouse to begin the season. You know what I mean? Like the timing of it, I feel like hopefully does play a factor.
Yeah. Oh, it will.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony. Well, why don't you take me into your first must-watch from this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm in the SEC.
Not must-watch. Takeaway. My apologies.
Yeah. I'm in the SEC. Vanderbilt versus Texas. This is a game we did say was a must-watch because is Vanderbilt for real? Are they is this going to be them? Well, Arch Manning was able to play this game. There was so many reports saying he's not going to play. I think this is a part of this new, what we're going to see in the future, where like Lamar Jackson, a couple weeks ago, we saw that with the Bears. He was going to play, and then he doesn't play. Arch Manning plays this game, and I think he was a difference maker. I know we've given him a lot of crap, but 328 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. He got hit multiple times hard, got right back up. No stutter, nothing like that. Texas dominated this game. The score looked closer because of this late run that Vanderbilt had in this game. I will say Vanderbilt's offense struggled to get going in the beginning. Sacked 6 times, and then, oh my God, it's crazy. They put a spy on the quarterback, Pavia. Like I've been saying for I don't know how many episodes on Cover 2 Cook, and he couldn't use his legs. And that really slowed that offense down. I think the takeaways from both teams. I think Vanderbilt's hitting reality, okay? I don't know if they are that good. Now they've lost 2 ranked games on the road. The 2 ranked games they've won were at home. So guess what? When you go to college playoffs, if you make it there, you play possibly 1 game at home. But after that, you don't play at home. It's neutral sites. I think Vanderbilt is not a threat to feel as this time goes on. I think people were on that train. It was great while it lasted, but I don't think Vanderbilt's a scary team to face. If Notre Dame had to face them, I like Notre Dame in that game. But Texas is coming on at the perfect time right now. They look really good. The only problem I have about Texas right now is that 4th quarter. Why did you allow them to come back into this game? You should have put your foot on their throat and ended it. If you would have done that, I think you're even a scarier team because that onside kick almost got recovered. And it would have gave Vanderbilt a chance to possibly do something. I just think the way we're looking as the year goes on, Texas is a team to kind of watch your eye on because they could get themselves back into that SEC and talk about, hey, what about Texas when we get time to college football playoffs?
Yeah, well, I have a curious question because you said you're not nervous if Notre Dame plays Vanderbilt, but what if they played Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, then obviously I'd be nervous because that's how they win their games, right? Is at home. But like I'm saying in the playoffs, neutral site.
Yeah.
No, I think Notre Dame wins that game.
Okay, just curious. Yeah, I was definitely intrigued to hear you jump on the Texas train. I mean, even last week you were all in on the backup quarterback, and then you tell me that Arch is playing, and then I'm like, oh, Vanderbilt's got this.
Yep.
Definitely took a turn. I was surprised to hear that Texas pulled this one out. But Tim, were you surprised on this too?
Yeah, I was surprised on the final score. I mean, they were blowing them out. I mean, they actually used Texas used a running game. That Weisner was running up and down. I think he had a couple of touchdowns. They finally got the running game going too, as well. Which, if you get the running game going, that opens up for all the passing for Arch too. So, I kind of turned it off because they started blowing them out, and I went to something else because they were being able to do anything they want. Vanderbilt's defense could not slow nobody down.
Yeah,
I mean that offense of Texas is when it's on, it's on. I mean, they were getting anything they wanted. But yeah, and then for Vanderbilt, I mean, they just it seems like that the moment is getting almost too big
Yep.
on the road.
Yep.
And that's where they're struggling at. They're just not there yet. They have not had the success, multiple years of success, and players being there and start 4 5-star athletes just yet. I think they can get there, but I just don't think they have the resources just yet to compete with a Texas or an Alabama. Or, I mean, they compete with Missouri, yeah, because they don't have the resources either. The lower tier teams they can compete with. They move up in talent like a Georgia and a Texas, even Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They just can't compete yet. Not yet.
And
Yeah.
I give the biggest roses to Texas defense.
Yeah.
Texas defense was the reason that Vanderbilt looked as crappy as it did. I just don't like that fourth quarter. You have to,
Yeah.
you can't do that because in SEC you'll lose games like that, and you almost. And I'm not saying that Vanderbilt would have, if they got that onside kick, would have won the game, but they had all the momentum at that time.
That was damn close. That onside kick was damn close.
Yep.
For them recovering it. Damn
Yep.
close.
Which is interesting because it seems like we talk about teams only turning up for the fourth quarter, not
Them.
the first three and not the fourth, So
Right.
definitely a difference there.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Tim's second takeaway this Saturday.
Oklahoma, Tennessee. This was a night game at Rocky Top. For Oklahoma, man, I tell you what, I wish I had a kicker that went to Notre Dame that was a kicker like that one last night. 4 field goals. 2 of them were above 50. You had 2 55-yarders, 1 51-yarder, and a 40-yarder. That saved their beans altogether. The kid made all 6 attempts from 50. He has made all 6 attempts from 50 yards so far this season. Oklahoma's defense stepped up big time. That fumble that they caused with Joey Aguilar, and then he runs it back. He had the tight end on his hip for 25 yards, and then he's stumbling, bumbling in, and they had to get him oxygen, or I thought they were going to get him a stretcher because it looked like he pulled a hamstring.
Yeah.
Because he's limping. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, that guy's a stud. I think that was the biggest one. For Tennessee, I mean, it's too many mistakes. That fumble killed them. They had a lot of opportunities in the first half, and they were only down by 6, luckily, because they could have been down by a lot more if Oklahoma could, But it's just, 45. You had 29 30, 45, 393 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Aguilar did, but that fumble. This pretty much eliminates Tennessee from any kind of CFP talk. We don't even want to hear about that, as they lost to Georgia, Oklahoma, and Alabama, all ranked teams, all at home.
Yep.
Josh Heupel is 11-12 against ranked opponents as the coach of Tennessee, including 4-5 at home. This could be the next coach on the hot seat. Just
Interesting.
time to look at it. They're not, especially at home. They're not taking care of business when they've got people there. And Oklahoma's now, that material starts playing better and that hand starts healing. They're going to be a dangerous team out. They're going to be a dangerous team to reckon with.
I actually got a question for you then. Do you think if that coach at Tennessee was at Penn State, he'd be fired by now?
With that kind of record?
Because
Possibly.
he loses the big games, and that's what James Franklin got fired over.
Yep.
He had a great record, but he lost the big games. That's what Tennessee's coach is. I totally agree that he could be the next one coming.
Yeah.
I'll say this, it just kind of seems like if there's any type of trend, you're in the hot seat. Like if you're not winning games, you're in the hot seat. If it's 2 years in a row and you've lost to the same team, you're in the hot seat. Like it's a totally different culture for the coaches.
Yep. Well, and the other thing I'll say about this game too as well is Oklahoma's defense stepped up. But again, it's one of these moments where it's like, where was that last week? Where was that throughout? Like, because if Oklahoma's defense can play the way they do, I think they're a scary team. And this, I think it's Oklahoma listening to Cover 2 Cook, which I totally understand. We have so many fans out there. We are appreciative of all of them. They listen to it because I go, that defense isn't as good as what we thought they are. They're done. They're trash. It's over. And they played really, really well against this Tennessee team that is good at throwing the ball deep, having a good offense. Joey Aguilar has looked good throughout the year. Not great, but good. They made him look bad in this game. Yeah. Like, yes, did he have good stats? But he was under pressure so many times throwing the ball. So, the good win for Oklahoma. I think they're a force to be reckoned if they can get in the playoffs because defense wins games in playoffs. And if that defense could play the way they did, woo-hoo.
Well, and also in the second half, they started using their ground game more, which that's another deal too. They've got to start rushing the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that would help Mateer out. They had 151 yards of rushing in the second half.
Yeah.
Well, if you could ground and pound it and eat up clock like we've seen against Boston College against Notre Dame, which we will talk about next or later, they ate up 11 minutes in the third quarter. You could do that. You keep that offense, that Tennessee offense or any offense off the field for as long as you possibly can. That you could win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, but that's Tennessee's MO on defense. They can't stop the run. That's why they got beat in the playoffs last year, is because when it came to the cold game, we wanted to run the ball, and they ran it right down their throat. It was Ohio State.
With Henderson and Junkins. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Anthony, well, why don't you take me into your second takeaway from the Saturday?
Yeah, Georgia and Florida. Definitely was not a must-watch game. One team, Florida, they're reeling after this coach firing, and Georgia's Georgia, right? But why is this one of those games that just feels tough? Well, welcome to the SEC, boys and girls, because just when you think it's going to be an easy game, you don't. This game went into half 10-10, and it felt like if Georgia did something, Florida could do it too. And Georgia could do it, Florida could do it too. It was one of those things where it just felt like Florida or Georgia couldn't pull away, and they needed to. Then Georgia would go down when Florida kicks a 50-yard field goal, but Georgia would score with less than 5 minutes left in this game to take the lead. I would say this real quick. Georgia fans, do not freak out yet. Do not. This is just playing in the SEC. There's teams that mark you down and say, if I win here, this is that big game. This is where the players say, hey, I could transfer and go to somewhere better. This is where coaches, interim coaches, say why I deserve this coaching position is because we beat Georgia, right? This was one of those games where it was a trap game for Georgia. I think Georgia is good. I just still don't know what I don't know what it is. But that Stockton, I just don't believe in him. He didn't have a bad game. I'm not going to crucify him, nothing like that. But it just feels like Georgia is like reeling for a good quarterback. A quarterback that they can depend on, doesn't turn the ball over, and that is Gunner. He doesn't turn the ball over, he does play. But he's also not a playmaker, right? He does it with his feet, but that arm sometimes is so inconsistent. I think Georgia's still a good team, but that looked like it could have been a game we're talking about was a huge upset if Florida would have took that game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't really think Gunner is a showstopper. Like, he's not a look at me. He's just dependable, consistent. I'm going to get the ball here.
And one last second, I think Florida's lost like 6 games this year or 5 games with less than 7 points. So, like, they have been right there in those games. That is very attractive for any future coaches going there because you're saying, hey, we're just one step away from being whatever we could have been this year.
Yeah, having that good baseline, that's good. Now you can just improve. That's yes. There's no fundamental blocks to get you to consistent. Yeah. Okay, Tim, what were your thoughts about this game?
This game Florida should have won. I'm telling you, it was you had Georgia right where you're at, but it just seemed like Georgia made the right plays. They made the plays when they needed to. Gunner Stockton made the key throws down the field in a key third down situation, especially when they went down and scored right at the end of the game. I mean, it was 2017 or 2020, and he makes a key third down throw down the middle, and it was just like Georgia was kind of toying with them a little bit.
Yeah. And
it just seemed like if Florida can get over that hump, like you said, get some kind of baseline, get over that hump of not losing the close ones, get somebody that can get you home, get a coach. That's what they need to do. Get a coach that's going to, get you there, not just kind of get you there or almost get you there, get you there. And so, I mean, they're a good team. They just, and them rivalry games, it's the greatest cocktail party of all, in the world. Yeah. Them rivalry games, usually the lower person plays better than, it's a closer game because it's a rivalry game. Yeah. So, which this game, I think, next year, there's talk about it moving somewhere else because Jacksonville's that stadium is going to be renovated, and they're talking. They don't know how they're going to do it. If they're going to go to Tampa, I don't think they'll go to Miami, but they want to keep it a neutral site. They don't want to make it where it's going to be at Gainesville, at Florida, or at Georgia. They want to have a neutral site game.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what makes college football the greatest. It's just those type of games when it shouldn't be that big of a deal, and it becomes a close close game.
Yeah, well, that's the atmosphere we love.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to the game of the week for us, Notre Dame. Anthony, how did this game go?
Yeah, so sloppy game. Sloppy. Just right off the bat, let's just say that. Sloppy game for Notre Dame. I will say the first half was CJ Carr. I talked about this. We need CJ Carr if we're going to be in the run for the playoffs. We relied on Leonard's legs. We need to rely on Carr's throwing ability. Man, 240-yard touchdowns. Whoa, this looks good. But all these penalties and shit like that set us back too much in this game. The interception by Schuler at the 5-yard line that led to Love's 95, 96-yard run. After that, that's Notre Dame. You know what I mean? That's Notre Dame to a T. I think going forward, if the game is on a line, key moments, anything like that, Love has to be in the backfield. I love Price. He's a great back. But Love is your playmaker. He's your superstar. He's going to take you over the hump of being a good team to a great team. Defense did okay. They did great. I think in a lot of those fourth downs that we didn't get, the defense came in and had to battle those. I thought they played well. I did not love some of these calls in these games. I think it was like third down or fourth down, and we sacked them, and they were like face mask. It was nowhere close to a face mask. I think the calls were awful in this game. I also think that Notre Dame led themselves to can't blame it on the refs because they did make a lot of mistakes as well. Final thing about this, Carr has to become more consistent for Notre Dame to be good. We talked about that. And the kicking game. Relax, everyone. Relax, okay? We had kicking problems last year. And when it came to playoff time, they were the most dependable special teams in college football, okay? I do think it was a bad game, but I think it was like Navy last year or something like that where there was a game last year, Army, where we missed so many field goals and we're like, oh my gosh, like what the hell's going on, blah, blah, blah. Just relax, okay? We'll be fine. If we can get it going, we're fine. But until that happens, go for two. Go for two going forward. Because I'm telling you right now, and what I love about Freeman is he's going to ride or die with that kicker. He did it last year. He's going to do it this year. And hopefully it sparks something because you can't be a team that goes for two every damn time you score a touchdown. But hopefully it works out. If not, let's start going for two. I trust Carr. I trust Love. I trust all that. Just go for two going forward.
Yeah. But like you were saying, like the momentum change of an interception then leading that to a 95, like that's how you take advantage of momentum changes and you bring it back to your control. Like that's definitely the way to do it. 100%. Tim, how did you feel about this game?
Well, it was a typical coming off a bye week. Yeah. We're playing down to our competitors. This team is 1-7. Now, when they made the quarterback change, BC, that because I'm gonna tell you right now, that starter they had I'm thinking, fuck, we're gonna beat them 50-0 because that quarterback couldn't do nothing. I mean, he was getting pummeled. That and they were only up 12-7. I think 12-7.5, and it seemed like they should have been up 30-7.
Yeah.
The defense was getting pressure up front. They were getting pressure on even on when they brought in the backup. They were still getting pressure up there. But he just seemed like he'd slide out of it and they'd throw a pass down there. And I tell you, there was a play at the end of the first. They didn't make the field goal or something. Yeah. Notre Dame didn't. And it's like, don't let them play around, boys. Yep. And they got the ball back in the third quarter. And they used almost the whole third quarter. 21 play drive that ended up in a field goal. That saved their bacon. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if that would have went for a touchdown instead of a field goal, we may have been talking about a different game.
Yep.
Because now they have all the momentum whatsoever. And I agree that key interception by Shula, was a backbreaker. And then he comes back and scores that touchdown. It was over. I mean, the game was over. I mean, you just felt it. But overall, yes, for a team that was a 20-some point favorite, yeah, they did not look good, and they can't do that. I think next week they got Navy, but they go like that to Pitt in a couple of weeks. Could be dangerous.
And it's you text me it. Survive in advance. That's what it is right now with Notre Dame. You just got to win. I do worry that like when we have the buys and things like that, we come out slow like that. Like that can't happen. No. That just like you can't have that when we go into the college playoffs because there is a little bit of a buy. Yep. Because we have the Army-Navy game, and then we have that first round, which Notre Dame will play in that first round because they'll never win a conference. Or even if even if they didn't have to win a conference, they would still like they're going to be playing in that slot this year because of the 2 losses. But you got to come out faster. Like,
Mhm.
and I think that's where the Love thing is. Like, I love the 2-back system. It looked great against USC. That was awesome. But Love could have done what Price did. Like, just throw him in there. Let him play this. He is not a once in a generation, but he is so good at what he does. Like, I mean, that when he took that run, it was just like it gave me flashbacks of Indiana.
But Anthony, when he ran that ball, and then he's looking back at that receiver or the DB, and like, don't look at him. You keep fucking running.
Well, he's
I'm so pissed. I'm like, don't taunt him. You're not in the end zone yet, buddy. Stop doing that. I didn't like that.
well, and I'll say he stared down the Notre Dame sideline as he's running by it.
Yeah,
Like,
I
just
did see
looking
that.
up.
But then
Yeah.
he looks back. I'm like, never. Don't do that again. Don't do that.
Well,
But
I
here's
wonder.
the-
I wonder if the jumbotron, because a lot of times you'll see players look up and they'll look
Oh.
at the jumbotron to see what's coming behind them.
Oh,
Okay,
gotcha.
so I wonder if he did that because he couldn't see anything behind him. I get where you're seeing the taunting and stuff like that. I think that's
Yeah,
what we, out of habit, we think of.
Right.
But I also think it was because he's like, is anyone coming behind me, or did everyone just give up? So,
But also too, Anthony, you know they only had 40 yards of rushing in the first half.
yep,
It was all CJ Carr. Well, I think Freeman says, no, we got to get back to the basics.
Yep.
We got to get back to we've won 5 in a row, now 6 in a row. We've got to get back to the basics. I think they ended up with 200 yards rushing for the
Yeah.
game after
Well-
only having 40 yards rushing in the first half.
Well, and Freeman's another advocate for Cover 2 Cook. I know he's watching it because I said before this game, we had to see what CJ Carr can do because we're
Yeah.
going to ride or die eventually with him in the playoffs because if you're one-dimensional, you're not going to be able to make it there. We had to use Leonard's feet. We got to see what Carson. All right, we did it the first half. Now, win this game.
Mhm.
Like, end this game. And honestly, like you said, that if they go down 14-12, if they score that touchdown, your defense is gassed for first off. Second, you now have the pressure of you need to go score. So now you're going to throw the ball probably or stuff like that. It definitely could have been a different game, but survive in advance.
That's right. Also, too, I was watching Heather did it. I think I have her on Facebook, and she was seeding because the seedings are coming out Tuesday night,
Yeah.
and the seedings she was seeding them. Notre Dame would be 10. They would play BYU first round.
Give us those Mormons. Give us those Mormons. I will.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I really
I
like
do too.
that.
And honestly, I like looking at this Saturday of college football. Like I
Yeah.
get it. Like it wasn't a great day of film,
No.
but you won when
Yeah.
honestly everything felt like it was going Boston College's way on just like plays that should have happened. We win. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yes, very intense game. Glad we could survive in advance. Moving on to other news, we talked about how this coaching culture has changed. Well, sure enough, we got another week where another coach gets fired. Hugh Freeze gets fired from Auburn. Tim, what are your thoughts on that?
Not shocked. Their offense is terrible. Their offense is. They've got a great quarterback. I mean, they give Oklahoma all they can handle earlier in the year, but they just can't get. They're another team that just can't get over the hump. And I don't think he's the guy. He had great success. I'm trying to think where I think it was Ole Miss, and then they ended up getting rid of him. He was at Ole Miss at one time, and then they ended up getting rid of him. But I'm not. I mean, it's win. You got to win, baby. We're sticking millions and millions and millions of dollars in these programs, and if you're not winning, see ya.
Absolutely. Anthony, what did you think about this firing?
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago. The AD was like, "We're in support of him," things like this, and he came out and said,
That's the kiss of death.
"Yeah," and he came back and said he was like, "Oh, that was huge." That he already had doubts that he was going to get fired. Like when you hear an AD say that, and you're like, "Oh, that was huge for me." He literally said that in a press conference. This is another coach hitting the free market, and why I'm saying the free market right now because I think the best job available right now is Florida. But there's a lot of great coaches out there that are waiting that obviously just been fired that you're going to see coaches this year. I feel like this year alone, maybe we'll see it as time goes on, but we like them, but we don't love them. Get rid of them because, hey, here's all these free market coaches out there that we can go get. Let's go get one of them. That's what Auburn's doing. They need someone new in there, new message. Bring back Cam Newton. You did that this year. Okay, so like, what else are you going to do? You can't live in the past. We got to start looking in the future.
So let me ask this because I am curious. Like, if these teams are firing all their head coaches, they all have something in common with each other. They're not winning the big games. So why would the Franklin from Penn State why would Florida be interested in him if he couldn't win the big games there? Why would he win the big games here? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it comes down to recruiting, right? Like, I think James Franklin did really good at recruiting. All good stories have come out about James Franklin after he got fired, right?
okay, bad example, but you know what I mean. Of
But like Brian Kelly's a great example. Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Why would someone want Brian Kelly? Because all you've heard since he's been fired is bad stories. Toxic. Why would you want that? I don't think he'll get a job right off the bat. I think he's going to honestly wait a year, let his name kind of get out of people's mouth before that. But you would do it because Nick Saban's a perfect example. Nick Saban did well at LSU, went to Miami in the NFL, didn't work out, comes to Alabama, and now we talk about he's the GOAT, right? Yeah. It can happen. It's just one of these things where the culture and the recruiting and how much resources, because that's why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, because, oh, man, they got more resources. It can change the perspective. I think James Franklin is the hottest commodity because if you go look at his record, it's not bad.
Yeah.
He just didn't win the big games. That could change at LSU or Florida or things like that. And also, too, real quick, if a coach gets a extra signing and stuff like that, and they're blocking them all down, that don't mean shit. So they could be heading out, too.
Who's on your radar that could be fired next?
I think Dabo Swinney.
Ooh.
I think Dabo Swinney. They just lost to Duke again. And he went to the press conference and goes, I thought I was getting fired here. It almost sounds like he wants out. He wants to go somewhere else. Because if I'm Dabo Swinney, wait, Florida's available? LSU's available? I don't even want to be in the ACC anymore. Clemson doesn't even want to be in the ACC anymore. Why not? Why? And I'm not saying he's doing this on purpose. I'm not going to go all down that. But when he makes this comment and thing, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something later this week, if not next week.
Well, and Tim, didn't we talk about this earlier last week of there was another coach interested in LSU? That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think I think with Dabo's, I think he'll finish the year out. I don't think he'll get fired before the end of the year. I think they'll finish him out, but I think I could see a mutually parting ways kind of deal. And because he won't change. He don't like NIL. He don't like this transfer portal. He wants to, and he's going to have to change or he'll be left behind. Yeah. He is going to be left behind. So he better and I think he's frustrated right now. You see them on the sidelines just chewing coaches' asses, the players' asses. Anybody he could see, he was chewing on them. And this is 2 years in a row for Dabo that's lost to Duke. At Duke and at home. That's not going to sit well with the alumni. Yeah. So he's going to have to make some changes. And I think the question you're asking as far as why do you think it's going to be better somewhere else? I think every person thinks that, well, we've got just a couple more things more better here than you did when you were here. When you were at Penn State, like let's say James Franklin, hey, Florida goes, we could really recruit down here. I know you're a good recruiter. We could get some players down here. Yeah. We'll give you this. We'll give you a little bit more than what Penn State gave you. Or, hey, Lane, come on down to Florida. Yeah. We can get you down here. If we can get you down here, you can open up that offense, and we'll try to outscore everybody 70-60. Yeah. I think it's just like picking up a player in any other major sports. If they go to a different place, it's just a change of scenery. It's a change of philosophy. It's a change. Sometimes these coaches need a change. Yep. They need to get away from it and try something different.
Okay. I guess I was thinking in the sense of the coaches are going to have to plead with the school, I'm going to be different. No. But you're thinking as the school is going to them being we can change this for you. That's interesting.
Right. The coaches have the upper hands. They're still getting paid. They're still getting paid from old schools, so they don't need this job. Florida now needs to tell them why you coming here would change our program. No, don't get me wrong. It's a job interview. So, James Franklin is going to have to – but he's put on the tape. He's done what he's needed to do. So
that's very interesting. Okay, then I'm very excited to see how this is all going to turn out and what other drama is going to be stirred up. I love my Bravo, so seeing all this coach drama is very exciting.
Yeah. What we got?
All right, well, let's move on into NFL. That was another action-packed day. I did manage to get my nap in case anybody was wondering, but I did watch a couple of these games. So, Anthony, why don't we talk about your fantasy? How is that going?
Yep, that's a loss. So I lost this week. Yeah, I did it. I can't blame anyone else but the manager. Rico Dow on the bench. Romeo Dobbs on the bench. I still got players to play. I got Jaden playing tonight. On Monday, I got CD. I still got Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think I only scored 60 points so far. I'm projected still like 130. And even with that, the person I'm playing is going to go get 150 this week or something like that. I'm facing everyone's best game. I think the guy that I'm facing this week, he only scored like 90 points last week, and he's going to score 150 this week. I'm getting their best games. Yeah. Honestly, it's tough. It's tough, but it's me, right? And I will put in the overtime to make sure that we're better next week, okay?
I mean, if it's up to the college teams, they might just fire you.
Yeah, I'm lucky I'm not an SEC coach right now because I would be fired. We're on a three-game lose. We'll go on a 3-game losing streak after this week after I lose.
We don't like that. We got to win these big games here. Come on.
Right. All right.
Tim, how's your fantasy going?
I'm up by 52, but he still got Brissett, Jacoby Brissett, Bam Knight, and Aubrey. So I think he's only projected to be like 78 or 80. The bad deal is I caught him on the right week because he has Hurts, A.J. Brown. They're all on buys, and somebody else I couldn't remember is on which is a big one, is all on buys. So I caught him in the right week, really. So, but I'm still kind of because Jacoby could, they'll get behind early, and I don't think they'll use Bam much, if they get behind early. But I'm up by 52. Hanging on. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Okay. All right, Anthony, I'm going to hand the NFL game over to you. There isn't a fire. I don't know if you can hear it on your end, but there's a fire alarm chirping that there's a battery. So I'm just going to go find it and take the battery out because I can't listen to it for the rest of this podcast. So, Anthony, take me to your NFL takeaway.
Yeah, first one is Vikings versus Lions. You know what? I've been a believer of the Vikings all year. I've never said a damn thing wrong about this. I love how this team looks. I love when JJ. Now, this game was in Detroit, okay? Minnesota, in this way the game ended. Minnesota wins this game today in Detroit. I love that. McCarthy threw for 2 touchdowns, ran one in. His pass to Naylor to get that first down to run the rest of the clock out. Great pass there. The only one that I had a problem with today was another pass to Naylor where he threw it behind him. It got picked because the guy was able to grab it. Lions were 3 for 3 on 4th down today. 3 for 3. Perfect on 4th down. But they had one where it got backed up and then they kicked a field goal. Right before right in the end of the game. That field goal ended up getting blocked, which if you're 3 for 3 going on 4th down, why not go for this one at that time? Jahmyr Gibbs was held in check. That has killed the Vikings. When they played him last year, Jahmyr Gibbs tore them up. They held him in check this one. That's a huge improvement. That goes to Flores. On that one, I will say, they have to play him again. And Jahmyr Gibbs better do the same damn thing in this one because I don't see that happening. The NFC North is getting very good because now with the Lions losing, and we'll talk about another game, or we're actually going to talk about the other 2 NFC North teams. This is now kind of getting a little bit of like middle of the pack is right there. Big win for the Vikings, though, because a loss today definitely kind of like ends this year for them. I still think they possibly could be a playoff team. What do you think?
Yeah, I think McCarthy looked healthy. I seen him a couple times get out of the pocket and run for 10. I might have been 10 or 20 yards. He looked good. He was passing. They looked really good. The defense. I think the biggest key is for the first time probably since he's been coach, Campbell didn't have this team ready to play coming out of a bye.
Yeah,
I don't think he did because you said 3 for 3 on 4th downs. Why are you getting to that? Where you've got to go for it on 4th down that many times. They didn't look very good today. Goff looked like he was off. They held Jahmyr Gibbs down. Even the defense on Detroit, letting them throw the ball down the field. And he even said in the press conference, this is on me. This is on me. I did not have this team ready to play coming out of a bye. And it showed. It showed. They should have blew them out. They were 9 points, which we seen today. I think of all the games that were 9 to 10 point favorites, I think there only might have been 1 or 2 that covered. Yeah. The rest of them did not. So just like any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, I thought last week we started seeing the NFL separate itself from like good and I feel like this week we started seeing it come right back to the middle on that. The other thing I'll say about this as well is the Flores Jared Goff situation, right? Where Jared Goff's going against Flores. He last year got the upper hand on Flores. Jared Goff today did look like he struggled on some of these. What is the defense lining up in, and what are they going to play once that ball's hiked? That is a situation going forward that is interesting because I think Flores is a very well-known coach that should be a head coach by the end of this year. I believe that he should be a head coach somewhere else. But if he's not, I do like and it's a love-hate with Flores because there's some weeks where I'm like, what the hell are we doing? But this week, it looked good, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I've never said a bad thing about the Vikings. If you can go back in the past and see any of these posts where I've said anything bad about the Vikings, that's on you. I've loved the Vikings. Go Minnesota.
Constructive criticism.
Yep. Another team that's named after a state.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh.
All right, Tim, why don't you take us into your first NFL takeaway?
Takeaway, Carolina and Green Bay. For Carolina, hey, Rico Dowdle. He's RB number 1, Mr. Anthony Cook, GM of your fantasy team. He should be in your starting lineup going forward the rest of the year, like you told me about T. Higgins, which T. Higgins did go off today. We'll talk about that. He kept the offense moving. He had 130 yards of offense. Carolina's defense contained Green Bay's offense. We all thought, whoa, Green Bay's going to run away with this NFC North. Not so fast, my friends.
Yep.
They only had 1 touchdown. In 5 trips to the red zone, they only had 1 touchdown today.
Yep.
That defense did step up. Carolina won the turnover battle, getting a pair of turnovers, and they only committed 1. I think the key to this game is Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
He scores that touchdown with, 2:30 to go, and Green Bay didn't get the ball back. Bryce Young took him down the field, 8-play drive, and he ended up kicking the field goal as time expired. That was huge because if you give Green Bay the ball back, you're going to lose. You would have lost. Bryce Young looked good today for Carolina. You had the 49-year-old field. Them uniforms. What'd you think of them uniforms? The 1923 uniforms.
So the helmets remind me of the U of I last year.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like as good. I don't feel like they looked as good as U of I's did. It was too dark of a brown.
I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't like them. It reminded me of the Illinois deal. Yes, I think the game plan was kind of coming from the 1920s because Packers did not look good today.
Yeah.
Love was 26 of 37, 275, passing, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. But their defense was a complete no-show. I mean, I get it. You held the Panthers to 16 points. Well, you should hold the Panthers to 7 at home. They got gashed repeatedly in the run game with Dowdle. Dowdle just killed them. But I think going forward, Tucker Kraft got hurt in this game. That's going to be a big key. Let's see what because love depends on Kraft down the field. He left the game with a right knee injury. Also lost D tackle Cody Wooden and Matthew Golden to shoulder injuries. Also, McManus shanked a 43-yard field goal right before the half. That would have given them the lead, which now comes back to bite you in the ass because you lost by 3.
Yep.
So I think the Packers, it looked like the Panthers came to play, and the Packers kind of slept through the game.
Yep.
I didn't mind their uniforms. If I was watching it though, as I'm watching, I'm like, I wasn't gonna identify them as the Packers. There was nothing about it that was Packers. It was navy and brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that was just striking to keep my eye to it. It definitely just kind of blended into me. Anthony, you have any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs, it was good to see that he took all but 6 carries because Wilson's been getting a lot of work recently. As a person that's in fantasy, I'm like, what the hell's kind of going on here? But let's get him some running. He had 87 yards, but at the same time, that they depend on that. I also think that Green Bay's too many options wide receiver situation is kind of causing a lot of this. I did see some drop balls today by Christian Watson. Romeo Doubs had some drops. Love, I've said this to my Packer friends out there, that Love shows no emotion in a game. And I don't know if I like that. I think I like a Baker Mayfield where if I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm happy, I'm happy. Because it just seems like sometimes when it's like, let's go, you can't find it with Love. And you can't wait till the fourth quarter to try to make this a game. You should have blown him out in the first 3.
Yep.
Yeah, but then you have the pros and cons to that. You got your cool, calm, and collected. And then you have like someone who's got a temper tantrum on the field, like Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? It could go either
Rodgers
way.
won Super Bowls, so or
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Singular.
Super Bowl.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's more than
one.
more than love got. So until
True,
that,
true. That's true.
Awesome. Okay, Anthony, what was your second takeaway from this Sunday?
yeah, the Chiefs and the Bills. This was it was a playoff game. It felt like it. Even the announcers, the atmosphere, everything just felt like playoffs, and it was good to get that. And then guess what? We just remember it's just a regular season because the Bills come out winning this game. And we know when it comes to postseason, the Chiefs are the ones that usually find a way to win this game. I think Pat Mahomes, he was under pressure all game. Now, stop putting all of your eggs in Rice's basket. I think this is like, oh, we can throw the ball because Rice is back. Hollywood Brown had a decent game today because of that. There's other people. Travis Kelce is nowhere to be found outside of that 2-point conversion. And then he throws this, like, Patrick Mahomes is reeling back, throws a ball up there, and Travis Kelce just catches it. It's like any tight end could have done that, but because of how long they've played together, that connection, those guys have to step up. Everyone else has to step up. I think Pacheco being out was also a big concern today because Kareem Hunt and that Braden Smith they just couldn't get it going. But those Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, you had Josh Allen going pretty well today with putting the team on his back with the running attack. I do think when I was watching this game, though, there was one sack where he puts the ball in his left hand, stiff arms a guy, puts the ball back in his right arm, gets sacked. And it was one of these things where it's like, stop it. Throw the damn ball away. There's times where he just does too much. That's a little concern. I think right now going into these, getting closer, because they were talking about if the season ended today, these would not even win their division. Right. I think this brought the Chiefs back to a little bit of reality. I also think that if they go play in the postseason, I'm putting all my money on the Chiefs because the Bills are they've created their team to beat the Chiefs. But when it comes to showtime, I just think Josh Allen does too much. He's great, but sometimes just throw the ball away. It's okay.
Okay. Tim, how did you feel about that? Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes, I think, was trying to do almost too much today. There was one where he's going towards the sideline, and he throws the ball back into the middle of the field. I mean, there was nobody there, but it's just the idea that and even Romo said that, he goes, just throw the ball out of bounds. Yeah. Why would you try to give any kind of reasoning for somebody to try to catch it? I think he was trying to do too much. That one, they went for it on 4th and 17. They said this is the first time he's ever completed a pass on 4th and 17. You know why? Because most teams don't do that.
Yep. But they got it.
And he threw it right to Rice, and that's when they got down close, and I think they ended up scoring there. They made it a 7-point game, but it just didn't feel like it seemed like Buffalo. It was in Buffalo's hands, kind of like Notre Dame. It was in their hands, and they were just. But like you say, they're 4-0 in the regular season, but they can't beat them in the postseason, and that's going to put some doubts into. Well, can Josh Allen win the key games?
Yep.
Because you can win regular season, great regular season. Become the postseason, So it didn't seem like it was. I mean, I think the Chiefs had a lead at one time, like 14-10 or something, but then they just came right back. Or it was 10-7. But Buffalo just came right back. I don't think, and they need to use James Cook a little bit more often. I think,
brother, I'm telling you.
Yes, and not because he's your fantasy guy, but I think he's just a hell of a runner. He can run in between the tackles too. I mean, he can, and they hardly even used the passing today too. Yeah. I was kind of shocked from Buffalo. So, but it was a win. So,
okay, all right. Well, it sounds like you guys covered a lot, but there is an honorable mention that I wanted to put out there. And before I say it,
1 second, Dad's got a second one.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I walked away, and I'm a little
and this
lost.
is the most important one. If you're a Bears fan, holy Christ. Today's motions was up here, down here, up here, down here. For the Bears, I think you got your running back. I think you can get rid of or keep him. But that Monagi is the real deal. And I think he might be the best running back you've had since Matt Forte. I really do. I think he's a bowling ball. I think he can run in between the tackles. I seen a couple times where he just laid out people, just ran them over. So he had 176 yards rushing, got 3 passes out for 22 yards. I mean, he's and he when he gets to that second level, man, he could go. He can really go. And now we've seen our draft pick their draft pick that they picked was it number 10, Colton Loveland today because the kid got a concussion. I can't think of the kid's name. Cole Kmet got a concussion. He finally had a breakout game, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that catch at the end of the game where Williams is running almost out of bounds and he throws it right to Loveland and he just breaks a couple tackles and runs it in. That was just So I think with Green Bay losing, we just talked about that, and Detroit losing, the Bears are tied in the NFC North with 5 wins.
Yep.
Wow.
Things have gotten interesting in Chicago. For the Bengals, boy, that defense is fucking terrible. I'm sorry. That defense is horrendous. You just gave up another 40 burger on this one. Oh, cow. The front 7, there was a couple of times where they run into each other. Al Golden might be on the hot seat. He could be fired tomorrow. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, you blew a Joe Flacco. He had 470 yards passing on a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. The throw he threw down there at the end for that not flea flicker, but the Hail Mary. Fuck that.
Yeah.
He didn't have much mustard on that baby, on that hot dog. I mean, but I know that the Bears fans were a little bit nervous that onside kick today, and Cincinnati recovered it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. If the Bears could screw this up, it is looking like the Bears are going to, because that just barely went off his foot. And they went right down and scored. But you just knew, and I think this was a Caleb Williams breakout game. I really do, because I think I didn't think he played bad. But he's playing against a defense that's horrendous. So, I mean, I don't know which way you could go with this kid yet. I think the jury's still out with him, but he played better. I think Ben Johnson has got schemes. There was one play where they did a flea flicker, and he caught a pass for a touchdown there, I think, today.
Yeah, reverse.
Caleb? Reverse. Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's got the schemes. I mean, 4 out of the last 5 games, Cincinnati has given up more than at least 30 points in a game, and they've given up in that game, 4 of the 5, they've given up more than 30 points. In that 5th one, they gave up 27.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're not good. So I don't know how to take this, but the NFC North now has become very interesting.
Well, and you say it's interesting, but Minnesota is only 1 win away from that. Your first and your 4th is 1 game difference right now.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so everyone that's gone this, Ben Johnson, this is what we're talking about. Caleb Williams, it's a breakout game. That defense couldn't play couldn't play in college football right now. That is absolutely crazy how many yards were in this game. And I'll tell you right now, the disappointing fact of this game is the Bears defense. Where you at? Where you at? Your offense is doing all this, and your defense is giving up so many easy routes to Jamar Chase. Guys, I don't know if you know, but he's pretty damn good. T. Higgins has a big game. I don't know if you know, but he's pretty good. Like, you made Joe Flacco look like he was 20-some years old again today. Like, what are you doing? That's my problem, is everyone wants to be like, Bears are tied for first now. And, shut up. Shut up.
Tie for first.
Shut up. No, the Bears are not that good. They just played a very bad defensive team.
Yeah.
And honestly, you had to have a 40-yard reception to run in for a touchdown? Like, that's what won you this game? No, that defense, that Bears defense, that's, Dennis Allen's really going to change it around. Yeah, change it for the worse.
Well, thank you for your strong opinions. So we did cover a lot here, but there seems to be one game that you both missed. And I have to say, Anthony razzed me ever since the last episode about my grammar slip up here. So let me make sure I say this nice and clear for him to hear.
Let's hear it.
The honorable mention game that you guys did not talk about here, have the Indianapolis Colts been exposed to their loss today? Anthony, take it away.
Yeah, I think they did. And here's why. A good defense slowed that offense down. You saw today the quarterback, Daniel Jones, looking like New York Jets or Giants. Daniel Jones, it was not good. They couldn't get the running attack going with Jonathan Taylor. I thought the passing game would be open, but you got plays being swatted at the line. They get intercepted. You got sacks. I'm sorry, but yeah, Colts fans, this was a game that If I thought we were going to be the real deal, we should have won, and you didn't.
Okay. Well, we are going long here. So, Tim, I'm going to move you on to your best results. How did you end up this week?
Well, I thought I was going to go 4-0. Yeah. I had 2-0. I had the North Texas, give them 6.5. They won by 14. Cincinnati and Utah, I was given the 9, which was kind of scary, but they won by like 20-some. And then we came to Sunday. Anthony's team failed me. They were supposed to lose by at least 9.5. No, they ended up winning. and Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. That I thought, giving them 3 to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's reeling, and they decided to lay an egg today.
Yeah,
I do know on the Indianapolis Pittsburgh, that defense came to play, and I think Cam Hayward, after that game last week, saying that we are not playing very well. The whole team is not playing very well.
Yeah.
Kind of lit a fire in their ass. They had 6 turnovers today. Indianapolis did, and that's Pittsburgh's defense causing that.
Yeah.
So that was a big key to, I think, of it. I think he got exposed, like you said, batted balls. You have 6 turnovers, you ain't going to win the game. I'm surprised they were in it that close at 6 turnovers.
Agree. And that just shows where Pittsburgh's offense got to step up. Colts defense didn't look awful, but well, that is episode 155. A little long today, but it's because we're getting into the greatest time of the year where we're talking about playoffs. We're talking about college football predictions and things like that as well. We talked about college football's takeaways. We talked about coaches possibly getting fired, ones that haven't been fired yet, who should be on the chopping block. We talked NFL fantasy. I don't know if you follow me now because this shit's getting crazy for me. And then we talked about the action-packed Sunday of football games. The Vikings, I've never said a bad thing about them. They're the greatest team in the NFL. So if you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those as well. Have a great start to your week. We'll be back on Wednesday where we'll talk Sunday night football and Monday night. Have a great week.